Have you ever wondered if the silent stones of ancient Egypt still whisper secrets waiting to be uncovered? If you're excited to uncover the secrets of ancient Egypt with me, please subscribe to Voices from History. Your support helps keep the whispers of the past alive. In far Gulf land of endless deserts and timeless monuments, I found myself drawn to a mystery that had captivated scholars and dreamers for centuries. The enigma of hieroglyphic writing. The hot desert winds carried stories of gods and kings, and the ruins of ancient temples stood as mute witnesses to a long-forgotten language. Carved on temple walls and tombs alike, these mysterious symbols seemed to hold the essence of a lost civilization. I could not help but ask, what messages do these ancient images hold? And why did their secrets slip away from human memory? Long ago, in the heart of ancient Egypt, hieroglyphics were more than mere pictures. They were a sacred script believed to be the voice of the gods. Each carefully chiseled symbol told a tale, a hymn of life, death, and rebirth. The pharaohs and high priests inscribed these symbols on temple walls and papyrus scrolls, hoping to capture the eternal wisdom of their people. However, as centuries passed, the art of reading these symbols was forgotten. The language of the gods became a puzzle, its key lost in the sands of time. Then, a twist of fate came in the form of a stone, a fragment of history known today as the Rosetta Stone. Discovered in 1799 during a military campaign, this stone carried the same message in 3 distinct scripts: ancient hieroglyphs, Demotic script, and Greek. Here was a bridge between 2 worlds, one ancient and mysterious, the other familiar and known. For the first time in centuries, hope shone bright in the hearts of those who yearned to hear the voices of the past. The stone became the key to unlocking the sacred language, offering a glimpse into a world where art and language danced together in a harmony of meaning. Cholas, with relentless determination, pored over every mark on the stone. Among them was Jean-François Champollion, whose nights and days were filled with the quest to decipher these symbols. Slowly, through meticulous comparison of Greek and hieroglyphic texts, he began to see that each symbol was not merely an ornament, but a note in an intricate song of sounds and ideas. Each discovery, every little breakthrough, was like a spark lighting up the dark corridors of history. As I stood before a museum display of these ancient inscriptions, I felt the weight of time and the pull of a long-lost conversation. The call of hieroglyphics was not just about the symbols. It was a call to remember the wisdom of a civilization that believed in the magic of written word. The mystery of hieroglyphs reminded me that every stone, every carving, held a story waiting to be heard. And so, with a heart full of wonder, I embarked on a journey to trace the footsteps of those ancient scribes and discover the true meaning behind their sacred language. I hope this glimpse into the mystery of hieroglyphics has stirred your curiosity. Remember to like and comment if you enjoyed this journey so far, and subscribe to Voices from History for more adventures into our past. What if the forgotten whispers of the past could lead us to secrets that transform our understanding of life itself? I recall the excitement that filled the air when scholars first began to decipher the hieroglyphs, a quest that seemed as endless as the desert itself. In quiet libraries and candlelit studies across Europe, determined researchers gathered fragments of history. A worn papyrus here, a crumbling temple wall there. Every piece was a vital clue, a stepping stone on the long road to understanding. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone had been a turning point, a message in 3 tongues that promised to revive the lost language of the ancients. The task, however, was monumental. Imagine piecing together a grand puzzle with no picture for guidance, a puzzle whose pieces were scattered across time and space. Every symbol on the stone was a hint, a small echo of a word or sound. Jean-François Champollion, driven by a passion that outshone the darkness of ignorance, labored over these clues. In the quiet solitude of his study, he would lean over his notes and stare at the repeated symbols, pondering their hidden significance. What could this sign mean? He might have thought, as if each symbol posed its own riddle. Slowly, the hidden pattern emerged. The hieroglyphs began to reveal that they were not only images, but sounds and ideas woven together. Some symbols depicted everyday objects: a bird, a fish, a loaf of bread, each resonating with a simple yet profound meaning. Others, more abstract, combined to form the names of deities and kings, immortalizing their legacies in stone. Every new interpretation felt like a step closer to bridging a gap of thousands of years, drawing the ancient world into the light of the present. The work was not without its trials. There were times when progress seemed impossible, when the silence of the stone mocked the best efforts of dedicated scholars. Yet, the collective spirit of these researchers was unyielding. They traveled to dusty archives, sought out lost texts in far-off lands, and met with fellow scholars to compare findings. Their persistence was a testament to the power of human curiosity, a reminder that even the most impenetrable mysteries can be softened by the light of determination and collaborative spirit. One memorable evening, in a modest room illuminated by a single flickering candle, a scholar, poring over his worn notebooks, suddenly realized that a particular symbol repeated itself in a pattern that could be matched with a familiar sound from the Greek text. It was a small revelation, yet it opened a door to understanding a whole section of temple inscriptions. In that moment, the ancient voices seemed to speak again, their long-forgotten song resonating through the silence of the night. I found myself wondering at the thought of those long nights filled with hope and frustration, a timeless struggle shared by every seeker of truth. The decoding of hieroglyphics was more than an academic exercise. It was a passionate quest to reconnect with a human heritage that had almost vanished. The scholars' relentless efforts transformed cold stone into a living narrative, a testament to the eternal human quest for knowledge. Their story is one of perseverance, a journey that reminds us to never give up in the face of mystery. As we move deeper into this ancient quest, take a moment to subscribe and share your thoughts. Your engagement on Voices from History inspires us to bring more hidden tales to light. Could it be that the ancient symbols still hold secrets that might change our view of the world? Even today, standing on the threshold of our final chapter, I felt the weight of an eternal mystery. Although much had been revealed about the hieroglyphs, countless secrets still lay hidden beneath the surface. The inscriptions spoke of eternal cycles, of the rising and setting of the sun, of life and death, of hope that transcends time. These simple pictures were much more than decorative art. They were profound statements about the nature of existence. The hieroglyphs portrayed a world where every natural element was sacred. Images of the sun, water, and sky were not just illustrations, but symbols of rebirth and guidance. The ancient Egyptians believed that the sun was a beacon of hope, a constant guide that ushered in each new day. In the temples, elaborate scenes depicted the journey of the soul after death, a path filled with trials, judgments, and the promise of eternal life if one's heart was found pure. I wandered through ancient ruins, imagining the lives of those who had once stood in these sacred places. I pictured the great kings and humble laborers whose lives were immortalized through the delicate art of hieroglyphic writing. With each carved symbol, a part of their story came to life, a narrative of human struggle, divine favor, and the intricate dance between nature and the divine. The text suggested that every action, every decision, was woven into the fabric of a cosmic tapestry. This realization stirred a deep, personal reflection within me. What if our lives, too, are part of a grand, eternal story waiting to be told? Modern scholars continue to explore these ancient secrets with new tools and fresh eyes. With advanced imaging techniques and computer models, researchers are able to see details in the inscriptions that even the original scribes may have intended as subtle hints. These modern explorations reveal that the mystery of hieroglyphics is not yet fully solved. Each discovery brings new questions. What did these symbols mean to the people of old, and how might their wisdom apply to our modern lives? As I contemplate the endless desert, where each grain of sand might hide a fragment of lost knowledge, I am reminded that the journey of discovery is never complete. The legacy of hieroglyphics is an open book, a story with an ending that invites us to write the next chapter. The ancient Egyptians left behind a code that transcends time, urging us to look beyond the surface of everyday life. Their message is clear. Every symbol, every image holds a spark of eternal truth, waiting to ignite the flame of understanding in those who dare to seek it. Now, I leave you with a question that has echoed through millennia. What secrets does your heart hold, and how might you uncover them if you dared to look deep within? The mystery of the hieroglyphs is a reminder that the quest for knowledge is endless, and that every new discovery opens up a world of possibilities. The past, present, and future are are intertwined in a dance of symbols and stories. A dance that invites you to join in and continue the search for truth. As the ancient ones whisper across the desert, carrying the voices of those who came before, I realize that our journey is far from over. Each new discovery in the silent language of hieroglyphics is not a final answer, but a spark for further questions. A call to keep exploring, to keep wondering, and to never cease in our search for meaning. If the mysteries of the past continue to fascinate you, please like, comment, and subscribe to Voices from History. Together, we can unlock even more secrets hidden in the sands of time. Have you ever wondered how a simple picture can unlock the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos? In the vast world of ancient Egypt, the hieroglyphs were not just pretty carvings on stone. They were keys to an inner language, a language that spoke in images and sounds, in secrets and sacred truths. Every symbol was like a tiny door, hiding stories about the gods, nature, and the eternal cycle of life. As I walked among the ruins and studied the delicate lines, etched by ancient hands, I could not help but ask myself, what secrets do these symbols really hide? And how can they speak to us across thousands of years? Let me share with you some of the most important symbols and their hidden meanings. One of the most famous is the Ankh. This symbol, which looks like a cross with a loop at the top, was much more than a design. It was a sign of eternal life. The ancient Egyptians believed that the Ankh held the power to give life, protect the spirit, and promise rebirth. It was a simple shape that carried the weight of endless hope and the cycle of nature. Birth, death, and rebirth, all in one. Another striking symbol is the Eye of Horus. At first glance, it is simply an eye, but it is filled with layers of meaning. It stood for protection, healing, and royal power. Many saw it as a guardian, watching over those who walked the sacred lands of Egypt. It is said that the Eye of Horus held secret measures of power and health, a symbol that connected the human world with the divine, offering protection from harm and a vision into the future. Then there's the Scarab, which may seem like just a beetle, yet it symbolizes transformation and renewal. The Scarab was associated with the rising sun, and was believed to roll the ball of the sun across the sky every day, mirroring the cycle of life. In its simple form, it reminds us that even small creatures can carry the great secret of change and rebirth, an eternal process that turns night into day and sorrow into hope. The lotus flower is yet another cherished symbol. In a land where the harsh desert meets the life-giving Nile, the lotus stood as a sign of purity, rebirth, and beauty rising from darkness. Its delicate petals spoke of new beginnings and the promise that, even after the longest night, life would bloom again in radiant color. For the ancient Egyptians, the lotus was a reminder that purity and transformation were always within reach, hidden in the everyday miracle of nature. But what lies even deeper beneath these symbols? For many scholars and curious souls like myself, it became clear that the hieroglyphs often had a secret life, a double meaning that went beyond the us. In some cases, the symbols formed a code that was like a hidden poem. When two or more signs were put together, they created phrases that could speak of cosmic order, of the movements of the stars, or even of rituals meant only for the initiated. These combinations were not random. They were like pieces of a puzzle that, when correctly arranged, revealed a map of the universe, a guide to understanding how life and nature were intertwined. For example, a series of symbols might describe the journey of a soul through the underworld, a path full of challenges, guided by protective gods and marked by signs of hope. Such texts were written with the intent to not only record history, but to serve as a manual for the spirit's journey after death. In these secret messages, every picture was a word, and every word was a prayer, a promise, or even a challenge left by the ancient scribes for those brave enough to look beneath the surface. For example, a series of symbols might describe the journey of a soul through the underworld, a path full of challenges, guided by protective gods and marked by signs of hope. Such texts were written with the intent to not only record history, but to serve as a manual for the spirit's journey after death. In these secret messages, every picture was a word, and every word was a prayer, a promise, or even a challenge left by the ancient scribes for those brave enough to look beneath the surface. The ancient Egyptians themselves knew that the symbols could hold more than one truth. They carved their messages in stone with the understanding that time might change the world, yet the core of their words would remain eternal. Today, when we gaze upon these symbols, We are invited not only to decode a lost language, but to find our own answers in the echoes of history. The language of hieroglyphics is a quiet invitation to explore, an invitation to see the ordinary as extraordinary, to find magic in simplicity, and to discover that every symbol is a story waiting to be told. As you reflect on these secrets, I leave you with one final thought. What hidden meaning lies within the small details of your own life? Could it be that, like the ancient symbols, your everyday moments hide messages meant just for you? The mystery is open, and the secrets are waiting. If only you dare to look beneath the surface. And so, the ancient language whispers on, its secrets never fully told, always inviting the next curious mind to step forward and discover the wonder hidden within every symbol. Thank you for joining me on this timeless journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with fellow seekers. Let us know in the comments what mysteries you'd like us to explore next on Voices from History.